Do-it-yourselfers Lori and Jack Shreves put contemporary into cottage-style design in historic Georgetown. Along a busy street, they've created a wildlife sanctuary that attracts pollinators to their stock tank vegetables. And in every nook and cranny, they wield their artistic handicraft. On Blackland Prairie, heavy soil, they found the trick for bountiful blooms.
I've added a lot of compost and mulch over the years. Some areas I just even put gravel in because I kept having certain things that needed better drainage die. So I just put in gravel. I just started going all the way to the street. Mainly because I have so many perennials, I had to keep dividing. I just started to take over the easement area by the road, and as long as I keep them pretty short, it's okay. When you have a flat lot, it's not completely flat. There's a tiny, tiny slope towards the street. But I think it's really interesting when you have layers. When it's just completely flat, it seems like you see everything all at once.
To create depth, they wove decomposed granite trails against layers of ground covers, mid-sized flowering perennials, and taller grass companions like lindheim or muley. Many are natives or hybrids, while others are simply adapted to heat and rainfall swings from drought to drenches.
We get a little more privacy from the neighbors. They can't look in at us. We can't see what they're doing. It helps keep noise down by having the taller plants. It helps to block some of the street noises. So it gives us an illusion of privacy, even though we're pretty much downtown.
Along one side, Lori and Jack designed a miniature park enveloped by small trees and evergreen shrubs. A bit of lawn makes comfy footing to stroll borders layered with complementary perennials, including bee and butterfly-loving salvias, tall and small. On the other side, they structured with yucca and bearded iris, offset by soft-leaf perennials that can take part shade. Progressive flowering across the calendar keeps wildlife in residence.
I decided, it does look park-like, and it creates the illusion of a little bit more to it by adding a trail that winds around and you come around a corner and see something different.
But more than plant beauty meets the eye in their National Wildlife Federation certified wildlife habitat. There's always a traffic jam from insect pollinators and hummingbirds, along with seed and berry-eating birds, like Onemahonia.
Just to put the sign in the front and kind of, promote, hopefully get other people to think, hey, even though we have a small yard, we can still do things to help out wildlife and to get more nature into urban areas. We have one dove in the Pittosporum right now that has a nest. There's a dove behind us in the Ladybanks Rose that has a nest, and in the Possum Haw, there's an Inca dove that built a nest. So they'll be anywhere from 5 to 10 feet off the ground. Each bird likes a different height. They want to be up a little bit, but some don't want to be too high up. Oh, except for the robin that one year, she built a nest in a mountain laurel 3 feet off the ground.
The mountain laurel that was hanging over the road in the front. And I didn't see it. The mountain laurel was so thick, but it was right next to the road. People walking by or driving by I don't think they could have bumped her or anything. She was enough off the road. But I finally saw her in there, and she raised 3 babies.
To attract non-stinging mason bees, Jack studied up to build housing for them.
We read about the pollinators declining, and we decided we needed to get the native bees a little more room and give them a little areas to thrive. So I started building bee houses, building little insect hotels to give them habitat and places to raise their young, and just increase the wildlife, the insects in the area, to help also pollinate our yard. If we have the bees that are hanging out in the yard and living here, they'll pollinate the vegetable garden, they'll pollinate the different flowers, and we kind of have our own little ecosystem in our yard here.
Wildlife claims the backyard too. Although they enticed many species of birds, they wanted to protect butterfly caterpillars in Jack's Tower of Safety.
I've read that 96% of all terrestrial birds feed their young caterpillars and grubs. So we wanted to save some of the caterpillars for releasing as butterflies, so we made a little butterfly garden for them. But to supplement their diet and help them raise their young, we buy some mealworms, buy some waxworms, and leave those out for them to feed their young.
Life of Another Kind, adopted dog Wiley dictated a new design scheme. They built trails and a round of grass near the patio hangout. To grow food for themselves, safe from doggy frolics, they went with stock tanks.
In the different locations, like some going north-south, some going east-west, and then the round ones, to maximize light, to also give us more room to work around them. We were originally do just 3 or 4 of the long rectangular tanks, but we realized we could fit 5 in there and still have room to get around, so we squeezed an extra one in just to have a little more vegetable production. I just went to Tractor Supply and picked them up in my truck, brought them back, drilled 1/2-inch holes in the bottom of them, put about 2 inches of 3/4-inch crushed gravel in the bottom for drainage, and then just set them up where we wanted them. Ran the water lines under the ground to give each one an individual shutoff, so if one tank is already wet and one tank is dry, we can close the one tank, let the other ones water.
For their fruit trees, Jack cut out the tank bottoms to allow deeper roots into the soil.
We had put the tanks in, and then we wanted to make some dividers and other structure in the tanks. So I wanted to get cheap materials that were easy to work with. So I went to the store and I got some thin wall PVC pipe, which is easy to cut, easy to maneuver. So I got that and some hog panel. I painted the PVC pipe. But then we also wanted to put some extra structure in. So I wanted to find something that was really easy to work with. So the blue PEX pipe is a real soft pipe it's used for plumbing. It's a real easy material to work with. So we decided to make the uprights on the tanks to allow for climbing plants. In the winter, if it gets cold, we can put the blankets over the top of it.
Wiley inspired Jack's fence and gate design too.
We wanted to have something different for a gate, so we found an old door that had like one of the priest windows in it. So I made a piece of stained glass and put that in so you can open it up and look out through the little portcullis. We wanted to make something for the dog because he liked to go up there and put his head over the fence and look around and guard his yard. So I made a little window with a little piece of iron art that can slide back and forth. So if we need to close it, we can close it. We can also partially open it so he can still stick his head through and look around.
He likes to keep an eye out on me if I'm in the front yard. He can't see the whole front yard, but he can at least look out further and see where I'm at.
Since the garage is a dominant feature, they made it a striking destination.
I just decided I didn't like the vase right there on the garage, and I wanted it to be almost like a little tropical patio, a little bit of flair there. The little alley in back of the garage is our compost bins.
And rainwater collection.
And rainwater collection.
Lori and Jack are hobbyist artists who tuck flair and color into every corner. Tiny art populates the garden, where gnomes and fairies keep an eye on things.
I found these funny little gnomes at a store years ago. Small little gnomes with stakes. I guess you're supposed to put them in pots. And I put them out in the garden and they faded very, very badly. I painted little motorcycle jackets on them.
So they're little biker gnomes.
So they're little biker gnomes now.
And then we have a zombie gnome under the tree over there with a
Yeah,
little sign
that's from Halloween, a zombie gnome out in the corner.
We put me a little sign saying beware of gnomes and a little point towards him.
Yeah.
And he's under the tree over there waiting for visitors. She said she wanted to make her own little fairy castle. So I made her a little fairy castle.
We found a burnt out piece of cedar.
Just add a little whimsical touch to the garden, a little things you wouldn't expect. We also have, as you've seen, dinosaurs out in the yard, metal dinosaurs. There's a little dinosaur diorama with a little blue glass river running through it.
Their hard works led to an enchantment of significance.
People constantly stop and comment how it makes their day better. You know, they drive by, they go out of their way to drive by and stop and say hi. And even if they can't do all of it at their house, we've noticed more and more gardens popping up everywhere.